So you may have to go up to your screen and hit OK to get that to come off your screen. If you want to see the gallery, you have to go back and select gallery view, okay? But otherwise, it's me and the big screen, little screens on the side, on the top, depending on your device. So welcome. Today is Gentle Yoga for Back Care. You can do this class seated on the chair or on the yoga mat. Now, not all things translate well to the chair, but we just do the best we can with that, all right? So what I'm going to do is move this chair out of the way, come over to the back of the room. I use a chair to get down to the floor. We're going to do some stuff to kind of ease tension out of our body. Like we have said before, motion is lotion. And so we'll be doing constructive rest pose. And probably the second posture we'll do is knee to chest, extend the leg out. So again, that's for the hips, for the knees, for the ankles. So let me get this on our screen, or let me move this out of the way because now we're here in the room. And thank you for coming the day before Thanksgiving. I was teaching earlier today, and we were talking about things you could do to make Thanksgiving a little bit more interesting. And of course, they were just kind of like, no. And I was saying, okay, you need to spin your wrists to get the wrist ready for, forking in the Thanksgiving food, right? Spin the wrist and then reverse. And I said, just for grins, maybe you can eat with your non-dominant hand, see if anybody notices. And plus, that'll allow you to eat slower, allow you to digest the food, get full faster, because you're not used to doing, that type of thing. Okay, that's enough of my turkey talk. I'm going to come to the chair and hands on the chair, step a foot back. Again, I have spicy back and knee pain and a squeaky chair. So I like to use the chair to come down to the floor. So the first posture we're doing is constructive rest pose. So if you're seated on the chair, you're going to come away from the back of the chair, sit more in kind of the midsection of the chair. Nice tall posture, whatever you can do. You need a little cushion for your behind. You can sit on a yoga blanket or a towel. Those of us here on the floor, I'm going to move my yoga mat a little bit away. Very good. And then come on to my back. This chair a little bit more out of the way. Very good. Okay. It's called constructive rest posture. My strap is close by. I sent y'all an email earlier saying, make sure you have your yoga block and strap because this class calls for it. So, yay, this one right here, constructive rest posture. Sometimes my nose feels like it's pointing to back behind me. And so what I will do is take my hands back behind my head, that roundy, bumpy part, the occiput, and then lift up and then kind of tuck my chin in towards my chest, elongate the back of the head and place it back on down. So I feel like I have three necks when I do this, but it's a little bit more aligned, which is good for those of us with back challenges. If this does not feel good in your body, you can put a blanket underneath the shoulders, the back of the head to make it more comfortable. So there's things you can do, okay? So constructive rest posture, knees bent, laying here. This does not feel comfortable to me. So I grab a wrist and pull a shoulder up and away and place it back on down. Then I'll do the same with the other side. So I have very weird shaped upper back because of my scoliosis. So this makes it feel better in my body. Hopefully you do too. Now, sometimes it doesn't feel good here in the pelvic bones that are laying here on the yoga mat. So I'll walk my feet towards my behind, push into my feet, raise up, and re-roll my spine back on down. Now, because I have my scoliosis in my lumbar spine, when I raise up, I can feel my back pop, 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 because there's like a shifting and twisting going on. So that's kind of like alarming. Doesn't hurt, but it just kind of feels weird, yeah? So I told you the second posture we're going to do is knee to chest pose. If you're seated, fingertips back underneath your knee or yoga strap along the bottom of the foot, and invite the knee in towards your chest. And just notice where it rests comfortably. Now, seated in the chair, this is more challenging. Just know that, all right? You have to kind of work a little bit harder seated on the chair. You may want to switch to the couch or the bed if you want to try to feel this same posture, but you don't want to get down to the floor. So there's alternatives that you can do, yeah? So from here, with our knee into the chest, we're going to notice, okay, this leg, is it into your hip crease? Is it away from your hip crease? Is it into your side waist? Is it into your low ribs? Notice your range of motion on this side. And if it feels comfortable, don't force it, okay? Let's just do a little soft point and flex here. We always try to isolate the ankles because that's, it's the base of you standing. And if you got stiff ankles, it might radiate, go up the chain of command, the knees, the hips. So feet often are the drivers for other pain issues, low back pain. Just kind of know that, okay? And then let's draw a circle inward with our ankle. You may have to lean back a little bit if you're seated in the chair doing this to help facilitate this type of staying in this knee to chest posture. And then reverse, go the other direction. Very good. And relax the foot. So what we're going to do here is breathe in, expand the belly. And as you exhale, contract that belly button towards the spine and extend that leg out. So you're resting on the back of the heel if you're seated on the chair. And you're going to find a comfortable place for the leg in the air. You don't have to do anything like super flexing when your leg is in the air, but just kind of notice what you notice. I feel a lot of built up tension in that hip bone kind of area for me. Now, we're going to inhale, knee into chest. Exhale, leg out. Now, sometimes what I'll do, inhale, knee into chest. I'll put the yoga strap on my bottom of the foot so I can really extend that leg out and then be able to bring it back in. So if you need to use that yoga strap to help facilitate that, to maybe go beyond your normal range of motion, please do so. Or just, extend the leg out and then knee in. So today I'm recording it through Zoom on the Wellness Living platform, so it might be a little less quality video, but if you're dealing with some back challenges over the holidays, as I'll send you that copy of that video. You may want to do this over the weekend, okay? Especially since we might be sitting a lot, watching football, eating lots of food, all that good stuff. So again, you may be noticing popping in the hips, noises in the knees, probably not much going on with the ankles because this isn't really too vigorous for the ankles. And then invite the knee into the chest, let that foot dangle. And already my range of motion has increased. I'm more into my side waist as opposed to being stuck here in my hip crease for this side. And then release it down. From here, we're going to do a little shake. So shake the legs side to side. Come up on the balls of the feet if you're seated in the chair. Just flat foot shake here, laying on your back. All right, and then let's do the other side. So invite the other knee in towards the chest. I'm going to use my yoga strap on this one. I can find it. And again, I'm noticing here. All right, so this, I'm probably forcing this a little bit, so I'm going to release the strap for right now. So this one is into my side waist as opposed to in the hip crease. So there's differences for me, one side versus the other. And then from here, let's point and flex. So we're just kind of hanging out here in knee to chest posture. Apanasana is the weird Sanskrit name for it, if you wanted to know that. We don't usually use Sanskrit names in Veterans Yoga Project because it is a foreign language. And so we try to use English descriptors for the yoga poses that we present here on this platform and through this teaching scenario. Because it is a trauma-sensitive yoga training or yoga teaching. And then let's draw circles inwards with those ankles, and you may feel a little snap, crackle, pop, or a lot. I feel that right ankle feels really stiff today. And again, if you were in tight shoes, your toes were cramped, you wore high heels, you wore boots with heels on them, you may feel that your feet are kind of like, giving you a challenge, yeah? Reverse, go the other way. Woo. If you're wondering what this poster is on my back wall, I'm also a practitioner of Sokumen Hobi Hep, which is a Korean martial art. And we have 15 different levels that we go through, and I'm on level 4. I'm getting ready to be promoted to level 5, so I like to have my reference here in my studio. And then relax. Now, we're going to do that leg extended out, knee in. So first, breathe in, belly big. Then contract that belly and extend that leg out and just kind of have it hover in the air. You're resting on the back of the heel if you're seated on the chair, toes towards you a little bit if you're seated, okay? And I'm going to bring it more towards me because it feels more comfortable towards me. So that's a difference, my side versus the other. Notice what you notice for you. And then from here, your next inhale breath. Let's inhale knee into chest. I'm going to bring my strap along the bottom of my foot on this one and extend that leg out. I'm going to bring my leg a little bit further away. Now I've got that strap. To inhale, bring it back. Nice, slow movement. You're coordinating your movement with the breath. So the bonus to that, when you move with the breathing or breathe with the movement, it helps to lower the body chemical of cortisol, which is linked to increased belly fat. So there's like a scientific reason why one should do yoga. It's that coordination of the breath. It's kind of a meditative state as you move. And again, notice what you notice. How does the hip bone, hip area feel on this side compared to the other side? How does the knee feel on this side versus the other side? Again, what did we say? Motion is lotion or lotion is motion. I don't know which one it is. It sounds good to me, but you gotta keep moving if you want to keep moving. I hope that makes sense. A couple more. And then invite it in towards your chest. Notice if you increased your ability to bring it more closer to you or not. Again, if you're seated, you may be still at that same place that you were, because this is more difficult to do seated on the chair, in my opinion, than lying on your back or the couch or your coffee table. Well, the coffee table might be pretty hard. Put a yoga mat on the coffee table. Don't roll off either, okay? And then bring the leg back down to the floor. So both of us, whether we're seated on the chair, laying on your back, let's shake those legs. Get that tension, kind of wiggle your midsection also. Wiggle them if you can. Yeah, I don't know if you can wiggle if you're sitting on the chair, your bottom, but you can laying here on the yoga mat, but just kind of shake the body there. Shake, shake, shake. And then if you can, march in place. That might be tough, laying on your back. Do what you can. Maybe you're still shaking instead. Okay, and then from here, we're going to do what's called the notice pose. We're going to extend one leg all the way down to the edge of the yoga mat, shake it out a little bit, maybe pat your hip if it feels kind of grabby, and then do the other one. I'm always slow on that second one because my hip usually kind of stoves up on me, grabs me, so I got to kind of pat it out. And you're going to notice how your body feels with the legs extended. Seated on the chair, legs extended, and you're resting on the back of the heel. And again, you may notice or not notice differences seated on the chair. All right, so I'm going to draw a knee in towards my chest. Sometimes that's a challenge. I got to contract my core to do that. And then the other, and we're going to do windshield wipers next. So this is Vicky's favorite posture. And it's also another one for easing back challenges. Now we're going to be very cautious when we do this, okay? So I'm going to make sure my yoga block is close by because this one's usually spicy for me. So what I'm going to do is take a knee out to the side. So there's your little windshield wiper. And I'm going to bring my yoga block underneath because I can't quite get down to the floor or close to the floor. So on the side of the foot, so it's kind of stimulating the muscles on the side of the foot, which you normally don't do. And then we're going to invite the top leg to drop down towards the bottom leg. Now we're not trying to stack them though. So we're on the inside of the foot that's on top. And you may be noticing some spicy stuff maybe in the behind, in the kind of, the hip side here. And it's a low lumbar twist. Then contract your belly button towards your spine. Bring the top leg back to the center, bottom leg back to the center. So you're back into constructive rest pose. We're going to do the other side. So if you're seated on the chair, this might be easier if you come up on the balls of the feet to drop the knee out to the side. So kind of play around with that, okay? So drop the other knee out to the side. So I'm resting on that side of the foot. Now I don't need the yoga block on this side. Again, I know there's like differences one side versus the other. And I'm going to take that top leg and just kind of bring it towards that bottom leg. So my behind is kind of off the yoga mat a little bit. Just a little bit, and it might increase as we do this again. and contract the belly button towards the spine. Bring that top leg back to the center, bottom leg back to the center. We're going to do windshield wipers again. So reset in our constructive rest posture and then drop the knee out to the side. Here we go. And I don't need the block on the second time because it's already relaxed and released a little bit. Top leg, let's drop it towards the bottom leg. So you'll encounter these same postures every time you do this particular class because it's specifically for those of us with back challenges, okay? So if you need a variety in your yoga class, this is not it. We're doing a prescription here, okay? Okay, bring that top leg back to the center, bottom leg back to the center. We got to do the other side. You ready? I'm ready. Here we go. Drop the leg out to the side. Rest on that side of the foot, kind of get it there in a comfortable place. And again, if you need to put that yoga block underneath, scooch it underneath, all right? It's okay to use gear to help you feel better in a posture. Take that top leg now, drop it towards that bottom leg. Woo! Okay, so for me, I'm sliding my hand underneath my backside and I've cleared a little bit more ground here. So I've increased my range of motion just a little bit, maybe an inch or so. Then to me, it feels better in my body. This is giving me some relief of my challenges. All right, contract the belly button towards your spine. Bring your top leg back to the center, bottom leg back to the center. So yes, so I have chronic daily back pain. And the only way I can help ease that is through movement, specifically these postures and some other things. And then I do a yoga nidra practice every night to help me get out of that chronic pain so I can sleep. I can hopefully sleep. Sometimes I have to do 2 yoga nidra practices to help me with my pain. So I'm passing on what I've learned to help you. So I hope you all like that. Let's do notice pose. Extend the leg. Here we go. And then the other. And then kind of wiggle the feet. If you can, wiggle the hips, wiggle the shoulders, arms out to the side, and just kind of settle, see if it feels okay in your body. It may or may not. All right, and release. We're going to squeeze the belly button towards our spine, slide a foot back onto the yoga mat, then the other. So last time we did overhead extension, we didn't get a chance to do piriformis bounce and pigeon posture. We're going to do that today. So I'm going to turn sideways a little bit, because sometimes it can show up on the video a little bit easier. You can see me because I'm wearing all black. Woo. Okay, so again, I make sure my yoga block and my strap are close by. If you're seated on the chair and you do not have this hip flexibility yet, it's okay. What you're going to do after we shake a leg, you're going to cross either at the ankle or on top of the thigh. So again, if it feels super tight and the knee is more towards you, it might be better to have ankle on top of the ankle. That makes sense. When you do ankle on top of the ankle, you got to thread the yoga strap underneath for the piriformis bounce in order to be able to reach this and move that muscle. So let's get a little preparation going on here. We're going to bring a leg into the air, shake it like you don't care. And if you're sitting on the chair, you're just shaking the leg a little bit, okay? You pick one, doesn't matter which side. And then we're going to place this leg on top of our thigh or on top of the ankle. Now make sure that ankle bone is past the thigh because you don't want to kind of knob your thigh here, okay? Piriformis bounce. So oftentimes the sciatica is in that piriformis muscle. It's on the side of it or kind of getting pinched somewhere in the pelvic notch. So we got to kind of take our hand and bounce the leg away. Now, sometimes we can't reach that depending on your torso length and all that, arm length. So you may want to take your yoga block and push it away. If you're seated, pushing it away does not feel good in the body. You're going to take that yoga strap or hand and draw it towards you and let it drop. There's a little bit more play going on in the pelvis area when you pull it towards you, as opposed to pushing it away. So again, this is the preparatory posture before we go into pigeon, or as I like to call it, pigeon. Trying to be fancy there. I know I'm not fancy. If I can get you to laugh also, or maybe like laugh at me, then that's good endorphins for the brain, whether it's a real laugh or a fake laugh. That's what I learned in the laughter yoga class. Sometimes you can just do those, fake belly laughs. And again, it activates something in our brain that causes good endorphins to happen. I'm all for that, okay? So yes, I'm a tad goofy just because I know it works. All right. Okay, that's enough bouncing. We're fine. We're going to make everything still now. And then whether you're at the ankle, seated on the chair, or laying on your back, you're going to take your toes, point them towards your knee so that calf is activated. And then, you know what? Tap, tap, tap that bottom foot. Tap, tap, tap. And then press that bottom foot firmly into the floor. There's going to be a little traction feeling happening here. Now, with the top leg, we're going to squeeze top bun, squeeze top bun. Maybe you have to squeeze bottom bun too because you can't isolate. It's okay. And if you're laying on your back, you can take your hand or your yoga block and push that top leg away. If you're seated, you're going to have nice, tall posture and hinge forward. Hand on the foot, hand on the leg. It's going to get spicy. This is more spicy seated on the chair than laying on your back, but they're both beneficial however you can do this, okay? So we're being strong in this posture. We're doing bone stimulation by contracting these big muscle groups, pressing firmly into that bottom foot. There's that little traction feeling going on with the bottom leg, toes towards your knee, calf contracted, pushing that top leg, squeezing both buns. There are a lot of instruction in this reclined pigeon posture. Woo! And relax, release everything. Yay. Bounce the leg. Bounce that top leg again. And then let's release from that. Bring it up into the air. Shake it. Wiggle it. Wiggle feels weird to me, but go ahead and do that. Shake, shake, shake. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Adjust your pant leg if you need to, and then bring it back on down. Let's shake the legs, both legs again. Shake, shake, shake. Shake your hands if you want to. Same time. That way the upper body and lower body is working with the neuroplasticity in our brain. So this is dementia prevention, by the way. And now we're going to do the other side. So bring the other leg up in the air, or the other leg. You're going to shake, shake, shake. And then wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. And maybe shake, shake, shake again. And then we're going to bring that leg either on top of the ankle or on top of the thigh. Just kind of let it rest there just for a moment. And then we got to start the bouncing. So again, you can do your fingers. You can pull it towards you and let it release. You can use the strap underneath if it's on top of the ankle to pull it towards you to allow it to release. So again, we're getting some lotion motion going on here in that hip, in that piriformis muscle. It's good stuff. It might be spicy stuff. Again, if you're in a spicy yoga posture, whatever class you're taking, I invite you to return your attention to your breath. So listen to the breath going in through the nose. Here we go. And listen to the breath as it exits your body. Here we go. Again, breathe in. Woo, breathe out. All right, now we're going to relax everything. And we're going to take the top toes, point them towards your knee. So that calf is contracted. Everything kind of nice and aligned with that knee. Tap, tap, tap the bottom foot. Tap, tap, tap. And then press that tappy foot firm into the floor. Woo! Now, top leg, squeeze top bun. If you need to squeeze both buns, that works too. And then again, toe towards your knee. I gotta find where I put my block. Put it. Oh, it's over here. And then press on that top leg. If you're sitting in that chair, sit tall, hand on the leg, hand on the foot, hinge forward just a little bit. It doesn't take much. Again, vigorous pressing into bottom foot into the floor, little traction feeling happening with the bottom leg, toes towards the knee, buns contracted. I always lose the bun, so I have to remind myself, squeeze buns, and you're pressing that top leg away. And you're breathing. We gotta breathe. Oh my goodness. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Woo! And then we're going to, yay, right here, relax it. Oh my goodness, I gotta relax the contracted muscles and bounce that top leg a little bit. Use your block if you need to. Use your strap if you need to. Very good. Now bring that top leg back into the air. Shake it. Wiggle it. My wiggles are laughable. And again, shake it. Very good. And then adjust your pant leg if you need to and bring that leg back down. We're going to shake both arms, shake both legs again. If you can, march. I don't know. I'm shaking my arms and marching. It's kind of confusing my brain here a little bit. And you know what? We're going to go back to notice posture. So let me get back onto my yoga mat. Extend one leg all the way down and then the other. And then shake the feet, shake the hips, shake the upper body. Woo! Notice what you notice. Does it feel different? It should feel different. Maybe just a skosh, a little itsy bit. Maybe it's a lot. I don't know. Very good. We'll do block bridge. You know what? Let's do block bridge right now. So again, notice what you notice here. And then draw your feet back onto the yoga mat. So bring them back to constructive rest pose. Let's do one windshield wiper so we can kind of see what's going on with that, okay? So drop the leg out to the side. Wow, okay. And then top leg towards the bottom leg. Maybe you can take your hand underneath to see if you've cleared any space with that low lumbar twist. And it's up, it wasn't off the ground on the first try. It's off the ground a little bit. And there's a little bit of space there. Contract your belly button towards your spine. Top leg back to the center. Bottom leg back to the center. All right, we're going to do the other side. So drop the knee out to the side. Here we go. Lay on that side of the foot. Get it all nice and comfortable first. Then take that top leg, drop it towards that bottom leg. Woo! Okay, so my whole hand is underneath that side behind. So I've increased my kind of mobility or my range of motion. So to me, that's significant. So notice what you notice for you, okay? It may be a little bit, it may be a lot, all right? Bring that top leg back to the center, bottom leg back to the center. And you know what? Just for grins, invite a knee in towards your chest. And let's do knee to chest, knee to extended leg out. So extend that leg out. And then inhale, knee into chest. Exhale, extend that leg out. Inhale, knee to chest, and release it back down. Other side. Invite it in towards your chest. And then exhale, leg out. Inhale, knee into chest. Exhaling, leg out. Woo! Inhale, knee into chest. And release. So this next one's kind of spicy. So when those of us with SI joint dysfunction, when we roll over on the bed from one side to the other, if it's out of adjustment, you're going to feel lots of pain. So what I do is I walk my feet towards my behind. I lift up and then roll over onto my side. That way everything is staying nice and aligned. And then it takes me a little bit to roll over because, again, chronic pain. I don't want to wake the bear, okay? So I take my top leg, extend it, hand in front, press into the floor, and then come up onto my forearm. Because sometimes I feel a little dizzy when I come off from being on the ground. So I take it in little baby steps. So I'm looking to see where my yoga blanket is. There it is. And then I'm going to go ahead and push up. So for me, you know, we have lots of classes here on Veterans Yoga Projects, and sometimes there's a class that's meditation, and then they'll invite you to sit to do meditation, or you know, alternatively, you can lay on your back. Okay, so for me, seated meditation is very spicy. So for me, I have to grab that yoga blanket, and what I do is I kind of fold it into a long rectangle, and then I fold it into thirds. So this is like a traditional method in yin yoga, restorative yoga, how to fold yoga blankets, for using them for gear to help you in your practice. And it has this little kind of thickness going on here. And what I've learned for me is I fold it again, because that's not enough height for this cross-legged position to feel good. Now, if you want to be seated in the chair for this next 3 or 4 postures, you can, or you can stay continued on the floor, but depending on how this feels for you. So what I'll do is I'll take my kind of, you know, stacked up yoga blanket, and I sit the edge of my behind on that. So don't mind me as I, you know, get onto my yoga. So it kind of lifts my body, allows my ribs better breathing. I'm going to grab my yoga block, because again, I have a spicy knee. So what this allows me to do, it allows my pelvis to tilt forward. It allows me to create some space here for my diaphragm and my ribs to make the breathing feel easier. And it kind of, even though I have a scoliosis going on, it helps me lengthen and be taller in my posture. So what I'm going to do is place that yoga block probably underneath there. Okay, that feels good. That feels better. because again, you know, one side was a little different. This does not feel good in your body. You can have a leg extended. You can shift over to the chair. You could do this standing, all right? So we're going to do side lateral flexion. We'll also do unsupported twists, and we'll do seated cat-cow. So these are the 6 essential spinal movements. You know, motion is lotion, to keep your spine a little bit more lubricated with that synovial fluid. So first, we're going to do side lateral flexion. Had to think of the word there. So let's inhale, circle, sweep arms up. Beautiful. And bring a hand down. Now, if you're on the chair, you know, you kind of have here by your hip or back behind on your chair. Yeah, scooch away from the back of the chair though. And then inhale, reach. Reach, 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 kind of expanding, opening up that diaphragm area, and then belly button tight. If you need it, reach up and over. So I'm bending that back arm to help facilitate this side lateral movement. I call this grabbing the can of zucchini on the top shelf in my pantry. That's a visualization you won't forget, is it? Okay. And then bring it back on up and float it down. This is also my pacemaker side, so I always feel kind of like stiff on this side. So I just do the best I can, all right? So other side, inhaling up, 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 up. And I'm going to bring that hand down. Now, sometimes what you can do, instead of back behind you, you can have it out here to the side. If you're on the floor, you can inchworm out. So you kind of choose how you want to do this, all right? So I'm going to inhale, reach. And then exhale, lean that side body over. So this side, woo, super stiff. And again, that's because of my particular curve and shift in my spine. It feels crunchy on the side closest to the floor and kind of lengthening and opening up on the top side. Maybe you notice the same. Inhale back on up. Exhale, float it down. So again, side lateral flexion. Do one of these every day. You can stand, hand on the hip, and do this, okay? So that's another way to do the same posture standing, but it doesn't feel good seated, all right? Next is unsupported twists. So in back yoga, we don't do the traditional levered twist. So levered twist means you bring an arm across and then you twist. That's, you know, using a lever. In other words, you're probably doing stuff that you maybe not want to do in a back yoga class. So we do unsupported twist. We'll make a letter W with our arms and we're squeezing that upper back musculature. So we've got a little bonus here because often where your pain is not where the problem is. It may be in the upper part of your body, referring back down to the lower part of the body because it's all connected. So we're strengthening here. So squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Now let's breathe in, belly big. Now what we're going to do is contract that belly button towards the spine from the chin all the way down to below your belly button, turning over to one side. So we're using the thoracic spine to do that. Now I often lose the outside arm. I re-squeeze it, chin line with your chest, everything kind of lined up. In Tai Chi, we call this turning from the qua, just so you know something a little different. Now let's breathe in together. Belly big, and then exhale, belly button tight. Come back to the center and then relax and release that because I was letting y'all hold that a little bit. Okay, let's do the shoulder shuffle. That's also a little mini technique for lymphatic drainage because it kind of opens up the area here above and below the collarbone. You may notice excessive drainage when you do this. Just kind of know that's what might happen, okay? All right, now let's go back. Letter W, squeezy shoulders. We're going to do the twist to the other side. Again, when you turn, it's your thoracic spine. It's not a levered twist. So breathe in, belly big, belly button tight. Let's turn over to the other side. Again, line everything up. Ooh, I twisted more. I love it. Keep squeezing that outside shoulder because sometimes that releases, okay? We're going to breathe together here. Here we go. Breathe in. Belly button tight as you bring it back to heart center and release it down. Woo! Now, we're going to do something for the dowager's hump since we're here. So we're going to wear our shoulders as earring accessories. So inhale, shoulders towards the ears. It's going to feel and look funny. Just know that. And then we're going to turn halfway over to the side. Strength building, upper body building here. And then release it down. Excuse me, my voice cracked. Come back to the center. Let's do the other side. Again, wear your shoulders as earrings. I know you wanted to do that today, the day before Thanksgiving. That's just something you were thinking, I got to do that. And then turn over to the other side. Y'all probably were not thinking that. I know that, okay? And then relax it down. Woo! And then back to the center. Let's just kind of release that tension. Let's do some shoulder rolls, kind of lead with those elbows. This is called lung qigong, when we bring the fists together and kind of draw elbows coming forward, alternating them. And then let's reverse that. So you may kind of feel some of your chest opening up a little bit, your breathing being a little bit more open. We haven't done this one yet, I don't think, in our Tai Chi class, but it's a nice one, especially in the fall months when we got all those pollens in the air, colds and flus. And while we're here, we're just going to go ahead and do this. We're going to take those middle fingers, find your collarbone, and go about 1 to 2 inches below that and thump your thymus. This is to increase T cell production, which is important for your immunity. Might help you burp a little bit too. Once we pass the age of 30, we tend to have less T cell production. So this helps keep that gland, keep that, whatever that is underneath, producing T cells. And maybe you want to alternate it. If you got fingernails, don't be digging into your chest. Do it with the pads of your fingers, okay? Notice if it's tender. If it's tender, that may be an indication you've got some inflammation going on in your body, okay? Maybe so. Very good. So we did side lateral flexion. We did the twist. We did the dowager's hump thingy. We got to do cat-cow. So cat-cow, hands on the knees, and tall posture as best you can. If you need to switch the feet, this is the time to switch the feet. I'm not switching mine because this feels good with the block. And then I have my hands on the knees. I'm going to curve my spine to the back of the room. Ooh, that feels good. Sorry, folks. I was like kind of living in the moment there. So here's where it might get spicy. When you come out of the pelvic tilt too nice and tall. So go slow back into tall mountain posture. Woo! It might be spicy. You might have to go slower, okay? Or maybe faster. Now we're going to do cat posture. Now we just did cat. We're going to do cow now. So I have hands on my shins, elbows out, hinge forward. So it's a forward fold. The belly is soft. So when you fold one part of the body over the other part of the body, that invokes the sympathetic mode, which helps you. Is it parasympathetic or sympathetic? I can't remember. So it's the one where you feel calm and collected, not the fight or flight. For whatever reason, I can't remember which one is which, but be that as it may, folding one part of the body over the other is calming for your body. And then come back on up to tall seated mountain. One more time, curve your spine to the back of the room. Your chin is parallel to the floor. We don't drop it down, okay? That's too much for the cervical spine in back yoga. And then softly coming out of that pelvic tilt to a nice tall mountain to where you feel your diaphragm, your ribs, your chest opening up a little bit. And then hands on your legs, thighs, whatever, hinge forward for that cow posture. So it's extension and flexion of the spine. So that's the spinal movements 5 and 6. Come back to tall seated mountain. Beautiful. Now we're going to get onto our hands and knees or stand behind the chair for oppositional reach. So this will target the multifidi muscle, which is the deepest held muscle in your back. When you stop using that, it goes to fat and it recruits other muscles to do the work, thus causing imperfect patterns of use, causing pain. So let's strengthen that sucker, okay? So I'm going to transition onto hands and knees where you stand behind a chair or do this seated on the chair. So let me move my yoga mat a little bit away from the wall. Very good. Okay. And you know what? I still need my yoga blanket. My spicy niece saying, you better put that yoga blanket there. You can also fold up a portion of your yoga mat to cushion your knee if you need to, okay? So, oppositional reach, or bird dog, as they call it, in other practices. Move that out of the way. So what you'll do is typically you have hands underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips, and we're going to take your right hand more up towards the top of the yoga mat. I'm on the pads of my fingers here, or arm by your ear if you're seated or standing. You take the opposite foot, that left foot. Now for on the floor, you press your heel away to get that calf stretched a little bit. From here, belly soft, breathe in. Now contract your belly button, lift your leg, lift your arm. Woo! Wiggle, wiggle, maybe, probably. And then lower the arm and leg, and then back in. Now, if you're seated, you raise that knee up towards your chest, hand underneath, and the opposite hand goes towards your ear. If you're standing, you bring that back leg away and your arm extended, okay? So those are the variations. Other side. Left hand to the top of the yoga mat. Right foot off the yoga mat, maybe. Press the heel to get that calf stretch. A little bonus there, by the way. Then we're looking at the yoga mat. We're going to breathe in, belly soft. Lift the heel, lift the arm. Woo! Belly button tight. Feel those back muscles. Maybe, maybe not. And release it down. Yay. Bring it back to the center. Now, sometimes this is hard on the wrist. You can come up on the shins, the knees, and just kind of rub those hands a little bit. Give it a little break. Let's go back into it. We're going to coordinate this with the breath this time. Or take a break, okay? It's okay to take a break. So from here, inhale, an opposite arm and leg outward. Belly button tight. Exhale, arm and leg off the ground. Inhale, bring it back down. Exhale, back to the center. Belly button tight. Other side. Inhale, opposite arm and leg extend. Belly button tight. Exhale, arm and leg off the ground. Inhale, bring the arm and leg back down. Exhale, back to the center. One more time each side. Here we go. Inhale, opposite arm and leg outward. Kind of preparatory there. Exhale, belly button tight. Lift the arm and leg. Eyes looking at the floor. Woo! Inhale, arm and leg down. Relax that belly. Exhale, back to the center. Other side, last time. Opposite arm and leg extend out. Exhale, belly button tight. Lift that arm and leg up. Arm and leg come down as you breathe in. Exhale, back to the center. Beautiful. We could do a cat-cow here if you like. Just a slow little cat. Just a little bit. And then a little bit belly towards the floor. Flare that tailbone. We don't tend to do this particular cat-cow on the hands and knees because it's excessive curvature of the neck and the low back. Now, guess what? We're not standing today. Not yet. We're going to come back down to the yoga mat, onto our backs. Grab your yoga block. Make sure it's close by. Of course, mine is not. I say that and then I have to go, dragging it to the yoga mat. Back to constructive rest posture, because I'm looking at our time here. Joseph said he needed a little bit more for on the back. So we're just kind of staying here today, just to give some kind of guidance to our body. So just kind of notice your feet are on the yoga mat, your hips, your shoulders, the back of the head. If you need to, kind of chin into the chest, do that now. And just notice what you notice here. How does it feel? Let's do the notice pose. So let's extend the leg. Here we go. We still got to get our guided rest, relaxation, our gratitude practice. We've already done the mindful movement. We've coordinated breath with movement for that meditative state, releasing that cortisol. So just kind of notice how this feels in the body. Okay, that's enough of that. Now let's do block bridge. So slide a foot back onto the yoga mat and then the other. Okay, you're going to place this block in the back of the chair and press your low behind into that. It's not going to be as effective as getting on a flat surface, by the way. So if you can do this in the bed, on the couch, for this posture, that would be beneficial. So I'm going to walk my feet towards my behind. Either use your own muscular strength to lift up or grab your behind, lift it up, and bring that block underneath. And then I always feel crunchy here. So I'm going to kind of walk my shoulders up and away, chin towards my chest. I'm going to make some more adjustments here. So this is a block bridge posture. So it's a mechanism for releasing back tension, okay? So, well, of course, we got to add on to it, right? So we're going to bring a leg in the air and then, again, shake it. Wiggle it. So you're shaking and wiggling however is comfortable if you're seated on the chair, by the way. And we're just continuing to be in this posture. Notice if your breath is feeling okay, if it's not challenged, or maybe it is a little bit. Maybe there's some built up tension going on. shake, 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 and then release it down. You may notice some little tingling sensations, maybe, maybe not. Let's do the other one. So bring the other one up into the air, and then again, let's proceed. Shake, shake, shake. Notice how this feels in your hip socket, in your knees, in your ankles, and then side to side. It always feels weird to me, the side to side in my hip. It's like, do I like this? I don't know. And then shake, shake, shake. All right, and then from here, maybe you grab the floor, your yoga block. Maybe the other leg can come up there too, and then you're having a little competition here. Which one shakes better than the other? Which one feels different? It might feel different, yeah? And then side to side. Maybe you just do one and then you do the other, or maybe you do them together. Again, shake, 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 shake. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. This is number one reason for having a yoga block. You actually should have two, especially if you have spicy hips, spicy knees. When you sit and crisscross, you can have a block underneath the underside both. Yeah. All right, and bring a foot down. You may notice some sensation going on here with the legs. And then the other. Oh, yeah. And then we're going to press into the floor. Raise up, release the block, roll your spine down. And just kind of notice what you notice. Does it feel a little bit better in your body? Does it feel like a little bit of easement happening? I don't know. And extend a leg. Here we go. Shake the foot, shake the hip. And then the other one. Shake the feet, shake the hips, shake the shoulders. And this typically is where we start our guided rest and relaxation practice. So this may be where you want to stay because maybe it feels kind of yummy. That's my description for it, because it's like, oh man, that tension that was happening in my lower back is like eased a little bit. So to me, that feels, that's my expression. It feels yummy. It's like, oh yeah. Now maybe this is not your thing. Maybe you want to put your legs on the chair. Maybe you want to come up to seated. Maybe you want to be on the couch. So you get in a comfortable place. So for me, what I'm going to do is come up to the front of the room to do that guided rest and relaxation. So what I invite you to do is just get comfortable. So we'll be doing what's called a non-sleep deep rest. It's kind of like a yoga nidra, but it's a very short practice. It's like a reset for your day, all right? So it's generally a little bit of breath, a little bit of body awareness. I'm trying to bring this chair here. So again, my invitation to you right now is to get comfortable. Remember, if you have to leave a little early, click that pain and distress survey first before you leave. A lot of folks, they're going, oh, this is not my favorite part of the class, but I'm going to tell you, this is kind of like it's integrated into a practice of yoga, a practice of Tai Chi, this little bit of awareness, okay? So your eyes could be closed, the eyes could be gazing down at the floor, or you can be like gazing down your nose, whatever's more comfortable, or you can be staring straight at me, that's okay too. But again, I just kind of allow yourself to soften those shoulders. Release the tension in your face. For me, my left side's usually very tight, so I kind of have to wiggle that left side a little bit. But if I wiggled the left side, I kind of wiggle the right side a little bit, and I'll shake a leg out, shake the other one out. Or maybe I'll have knees bent, feet wide, and knees together, because that often feels very good in my body. So that's another suggestion. So let's together come together with a breath. So the breath pattern will be breathing in to a count of 4, pausing, and then breathing out to a count of 5. And I'll do a soft clapping of the hands to make this happen. All you have to do is just breathe. If it doesn't resonate with you, just breathe however is best for you. So I invite you to breathe in. Then we're pausing, and then let's exhale. Again, big belly breath in and exhale. One more time. Here we go. Breathe in, belly big. And breathing out. Beautiful. From here, maybe your hands rest on your belly or your arms out to the side, whatever again is best for you. And we'll go from the tips of the toes to the top of the head. So I'll say a place in your body. You'll say it in your brain. You'll imagine it. You'll bring all of your attention, all of your awareness to that place. You don't physically have to look at it, but you just imagine it if you can. So I invite you to notice both the left and the right big toe on both sides of the body, the right and the left big toe, the right and the left pinky toe. From there, shift your attention to the top of the foot, shin. Notice both knees, upper legs. Notice that left and that right hip bone. Notice how it feels at this moment. Then let's shift our attention to the torso, the right side waist, the left side waist. Let's move our attention now to that left side chest, the right side chest. Shifting our attention to our right shoulder, our left shoulder. From here, let's take our attention to the back places of our body. Let's notice that upper back, mid back, low back. Notice that right hip, the left hip, the back side of the right leg, the back side of the left leg. And notice both backs of the knees, that little bend at the back of the knee. Good. Notice the left and the right calf, the right and the left ankles, and the soles of both the feet. From here, shifting our attention to the right thumbs, the left thumbs, both the index fingers, middle fingers, ring fingers, pinky fingers. From here, I invite you to bring all that attention, all that awareness to your right and your left palms, wrists, the forearms. Notice your elbows and those upper arms. From here, let's bring our attention now to our navel center. Notice your navel center. And then shift your attention to your heart center. And then gradually, softly move your attention to the base of your throat center. Notice both the front of your neck and the back of your neck at the same time. Then shifting your attention to your chin, your jawline, your lower lip, your upper lip, the right nostril, the left nostril, the right eyebrow, the left eyebrow, the forehead. Then shifting all of your attention to the crown of your head. Notice the crown of your head, the very top of your head. As if there's like a little opening at the crown of the head. Let's breathe in some healing sunshine. Imagine healing light entering through the crown of the head. It's saturating every cell of your body, down to the bones, the muscles, the tendons, those several layers of your skin. Maybe there's a challenge area in your body. So invite that sunshine to go to that area to provide healing to that area. Breathing in the light, breathing in the healing. See it, feel it everywhere. Imagine that you're fully healed, you're whole, you're new again. Breathe in that feeling. Good. And then from here, I invite you to come back into the now, back into the present moment. Let's do a little bit of finger wiggling, little toe wiggling. If you're laying on your back, bring a knee into your chest and then the other. If you're seated on the chair, bring the knees wide. And those of us with knees into the chest, those of us seated, let's do some knee circles or shoulder circles, just to kind of wake up our mid portion of our body. Go a little bit slow. And then let's pause and go the other way. Notice if it feels a little different when you go the other way. It might. And again, if you're laying on your back, if you're seated, let's come back to the center. Then if you're laying on your back, gently roll over onto your side body. Extend that top leg, push into that top hand, push into a seated position. Everybody is going to come up to seated. Bring your hands to your heart center. And I invite you, just for showing up today, showing your gratitude to yourself, drop your chin towards your chest a little bit. And as always, as I like to say, think about one thing that you're grateful for, or maybe an idea of gratitude. And let's grab it, clasp it, and place it into our heart center as we kind of think about it here. And I appreciate y'all's dedication, determination, your discipline, and your responsibility for signing up for a class, for coming to class, or maybe watching a recording. So that's on your journey for self-help, self-healing. So you're being your own advocate by doing a movement practice. So thank you. Thank you for showing up. And then we'll lift our chin to gaze, our eyes open forward if you so choose. And we'll say our traditional sayings to end our class. Hands can be together, by the way, or stacked upon the heart. So the light in me honors and respects the light in you. So let's take the peace, the strength, the understanding, that little attitude of gratitude, and let's pass it on. And I say the word namaste, which is Sanskrit, and it means the brightness in me honors and respects the brightness in you. This concludes our practice of gentle yoga for back care. I will now stop the recording.